a lot of really good things these last couple of days. Defensively, on the bases, different guys stepping up, whether it be in the bullpen or the rotation. So we've got some clutch hits and clutch at bats from guys. So that was a really good baseball game out there in a great environment, and we're able to hang on tonight. But a good way to finish. What's been a tough stretch for us to finish off the homestand with 3 wins against 3 great opponents and pitchers. A good way to head into the off day.
Montas goes 5 and 2/3. Is that more of what you thought you were going to get from him when you traded for him?
Yeah, and the first inning obviously got really long, so for him to be able to look like he was going to get through 6 there after that first inning, I thought he settled in really nice. Even the first inning, he gives up the blue pit to Marte, and then I thought he made a lot of good pitches to Lindor. I just thought Lindor had a really good at bat working the walk against him. We turned some great double plays behind him early in the game. The ball Nito hit slow, and then a really special one later on. Isaiah and Glaber turning 2 really good ones tonight that were key.
Aaron, just along those same lines, I mean, Judge does a lot of damage to a lot of teams, but against the Mets, his numbers are pretty good. I think that's 10 home runs in 21 games.
Yeah.
He has over 1. That just speaks to the stage that you think he just gets a lot of that energy from and what he wants to do there?
I think that's part of it. He loves playing when the lights are bright. I mean, he does. I think he looks forward to these things, and especially this year with the 2 teams, having the kind of seasons they are, these feel a little bigger. Frankly, it feels that way, and I think he does enjoy that.
Tyler.
Aaron, when you see a game like this, the last 3 really, but you're getting a home run from Judge, making sound defensive plays, good pitching, does that let you know that, or give you hope that, like, this is, whatever we were going through earlier is over, and now we can...
No, I don't want to say over. I mean, but I don't look at it even like we're trying to get over. We're trying to put our best foot forward. We're trying to be the most complete team, and right now we're searching to kind of find some defined roles in our bullpen as we look forward to getting some more guys back in the mix. So it's been a tough stretch. We're grinding. I think these wins can go a long way and kind of helping you build a little bit of confidence and get that swagger back a little bit, hopefully. But you never try and look at it as being, too upset, too satisfied. It's like onward and upward. We got a lot of season left. We know we got to play well. It's right in front of us. And that's kind of the mindset. We enjoy this one, fly out, off day, and here we go.
Ron and Joel.
As locked in as you are during the game, was there ever a moment over the 2 days you allowed yourself to think, hey, these 2 teams could meet again down the road this year?
There might have been a moment of, like, because the environment felt so alive and electric, even by Subway Series standards, which are always that way. But this felt, for a regular season game, it felt a little more alive and bigger. So barely, but sure.
Over to Joel.
2 different ones if possible, Aaron. How do you feel right now when a big at bat finds Benintendi?
Yeah. Good. He's finding his he's finding his legs now, and I mean that's a big time at bat off a Rodriguez there. He's left on left. That's about as tough a bullpen match as you're going to get there, and it's just so pro. And his bat to ball, that's what we loved about him, and it's starting to happen. And yeah, I do enjoy in a big situation him coming up right now because he's settling in.
And a different subject, is Aroldis Chapman no longer a high leverage reliever for you?
I think he will be and can be. We got to still get him there though. After a couple tough ones. We'll see. We'll just, on a given night, we're going to have to. And I do feel like there was a long stretch there where he was starting to pitch in some of those spots, whether it be the 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever it's been. But we got to get him back to that point after, a couple ones where he struggled. So that's kind of just trying to work on that confidence and get him in those situations. There's going to be games where we have no choice. But, and just talking a lot even before the game, the one thing about him is physically it's there. Physically we've seen it now in a long stretch. We got to just get that next layer of confidence, especially when it gets a little wobbly there for a hitter or two, to be able to, still find it.
All the way back to the left.
Aaron, or you touched on the crowd earlier, but is there a small, I know you have a division win and everything, but is there a small part of you that kind of wonders what this atmosphere would be like in October if you guys did meet up?
I mean, a very small part. I mean, it would be amazing, right? This is about as good a regular season atmosphere as you'll find and see, and even for here where we play in a lot of those games throughout the year, but yeah, I mean, I'm kind of focused on the other stuff, and even if we're in that position, I don't focus too much on the atmosphere anyway.
Lindsay and John.
Sort of still on that, Aaron, you have a lot of fans from both teams here leading to that environment. Is that kind of unique, and how does that
I think that's one thing that is really unique. We get that on the road sometimes because our fans travel so well, and so we'll go to parks where there's a lot of Yankee fans. So when we're doing well, you hear that roar of the crowd. We don't ever really hear that at home, but obviously with a lot of Mets fans being here too, you hear that back and forth, and that's something that's definitely unique and different.
Back right, John.
Yeah, you've been around a little while now. This year that Judge is having, not counting Bonds, does it remind you of anybody? Do you remember anybody having this kind of year in terms of clutch hits and home runs?
I can't really say to this level, no. And I think when you add it all up too with the kind of two-way player he is, everything from offense, defense, base running, and like you said, he's also done it in the biggest of spots too. So you said except for Bonds, it's hard to. It's hard to put a comparison on it in my experience anyway. Mike Schmidt in 1980, it's pretty good. 48 homers, shattering the mark held by Eddie Matthews.
Could you go into your thinking about using Schmidt as long as you did?
Well, he's built up like a starter. I got no Marinaccio, no Trevino, no Loaizaga. I had Wandy up there for their lefties, but I know they're going to shoot, Ruff, who's really tough against lefties. And I just felt like I was riding with Clark, and then I just felt like, obviously, it got long there, 3 long at-bats in a row, and got to a point where I felt like I had no choice. But I was pretty resolved to, unless it started to get away from Clark, which at the very end, maybe it did a little bit, I was riding him.
Meredith.
So, jumping off the question from before, you had no intention of using Chapman either in those situations.
No, I was going Wandy behind Clark if I needed him.
So finally, how long do you think you can go with a month to go in the season, trying to figure all this out in the bullpen before you get to the post?
As long as we got to. We'll keep working to figure it out. The last couple days we've been a little bit up against it. Having 3 guys down today, a couple of guys down yesterday. So, I think it's important to know, like, a lot of really good things are happening down there with a handful of guys that I feel like we're building some really quality, important roles for them. We're going to get Clay Holmes back on this trip. We're going to get Efros back at some point. So, for as much as we're trying to figure it out a little bit right now and kind of find these roles, I'm I'm very optimistic because I feel like those good things are happening and more help's on the way.